Hello and welcome back to this week in Warhammer Fantasy, or I suppose this week in Warhammer the OId. And this weekend we received a lot of news about the Orcs, and I think some of it came out today as well. So we've got this, which we've already seen, which I think is a really good start battalion. I've got a really old Orcs and Goblins army from way back in the day, but so I think this is a good start. I would personally like to have some more of the old standard goblins and not just the night goblins, which you can buy separately now from the old or from Age of Sigmar. So I think this is a good complement. I don't know if you're going to have use for two chariots. I personally only have one, but I suppose the new rules for them might be good. I actually haven't read. I think that 73 miniatures might be a really good price. We'll have a look at it in a moment. So the Black Orc big boss, which I suppose would have been the old war boss, is really cool. I think he looks very Grimgor Ironhide inspired, but still is his own thing. I think it's a bit weird how they painted him around here, because it's obviously an iron axe, but it's got blue oxidation. But apart from that, really cool miniature. Really feels old world orc, and gives me a lot of hope that they're going to release more stuff like this. And speaking of old world or old fantasy orcs, the orc warboss on Wyvern is insane. I think it is so cool. I'm terrified trying to get the dragon to stand. Thankfully it's in resin now. Normally I think the resin is, I prefer metal, but for huge dragons, I've got an old high elf dragon. It's impossible to balance them. They break. Might be good. I think this is really cool that we're getting some really old stuff back. We've got the Troll Hag, which I think used to be a Forge World only model. It's cool. I'm not going to guess it, but I could definitely see this working super well in an orc army that is based on trolls. And it says that she's going to have something in the new Arcane Journal for the Orcs and Goblins. I'm really excited to see how that's going to work. I think having sort of fish people or fish orcs and is a really cool idea, and I do like being able to use trolls more. The new, or I suppose again old, Orcs and Night Goblin commands, that's really cool. I think this guy specifically is awesome. He sort of looks like a less developed version of the new big boss, but I think is really cool. I really love the little slayed dwarf that's just hanging on the banner here. He's been crucified by this chap. I just think they're so cool. These guys sort of look a bit bog standard to me. This is obviously the inspiration for the new night, what do they call them? The new Squig Hopper people. They've got a hero that is just looks exactly like this. I think the banner's really cool, but other than that, it's really very bog standard miniatures. And the classic orcs, there's nothing spectacular about this, but it's so cool that they are actually back. I'm really looking forward to. I suppose I'm not going to have to buy any new. I'm going to have to actually finish my old army first, but that's that. Have some classic orcs. This is really cool. The I suppose old Biggin squad. I almost forgot these even existed. I think they're going to be really fun to paint up. I think that they've got the new plastic shields with these little things on the shields are optional, and I think there are even other options. I like the sort of paper banner they've got going. I've got a friend who's trying to do a old school dwarf army purely in metal. So I hope this is sort of showing the direction they're going to be going in, and that we're going to get even more of these fully metal, more than 30 years old miniatures. I think that would be great. And this magician, I actually have two of. They're really cool. They feel really nice in the hand, and they are really easy to paint, which I think is something all of these old metal kits have in common, is that they are really easy to paint. I mean, if you can prime them well, of course, because metal's a pain to paint on as a material, but the sort of the posing, and I suppose it might be because they were sort of less three-dimensional, because they were usually just one piece molded together with maybe an attachable head, which I think these guys have, or like a single option, like this guy's knife is attachable. So that, I think, they're easier to paint that way. We've got a lot of old goblins coming in. I really don't like any of these. I think they're going too far in the half moon scheme. This guy's even got a sort of Eye of Mordor. I don't know, they feel a bit silly to me and a bit gimmicky. Same with these guys, though. I haven't actually seen this little fella that's hanging on top of his head. That is proper cool. And these guys, I do like these. I like the sort of old goblin versions. The not night goblins, the actual just sort of Mongolian raider goblins. I think they are proper cool. This feels a bit old school with the just poorly sculpted stone mace, or club, I suppose. Which, if you like that, go ahead. If I get this, I'm probably going to change that. Some shamans, I suppose. Well, I mean, they're fine. I think the best shaman for the just ordinary goblins it's the shaman that comes on top of the Ragnarok spider, who's got like sort of web wings. I think he's really cool. These wolves are very poorly crafted. I've been very positive, but these do show their age a bit too much for my liking. If you want wolf heroes, I would probably go for the Age of Sigmar wolf riders and change some stuff. I mean, I guess if you want the very old army theme, this is fine. But as comparing to modern miniatures, they are showing their age. These I love. These are you can just see how easy they would be to paint, because of the thing I said before, with them being sort of two-dimensional. But I just think they are so funny. Yeah, let's scroll down. This wolf chariot is really cool. I think they released some Gromber Porch, but I suppose they didn't. This is an epic model. I suppose the way they painted them as well, this enormous mouths with a bunch of teeth feels very old school Games Workshop. But this does remind me of the old Grom the Paunch model, which would be lovely to have back. And then we've got the goblins. Yeah, I mean, these sort of ogre things, I'm not a huge fan. I really don't like them. I've tried to like them, but I can't force myself to. These trolls, the stone trolls, are really cool though. I mean, the sort of old man expression, whilst they've got both that sort of human likeness and also this very trollish quality. I think that if you would tell a new player these are plastic and were released for Age of Sigmar, I think that would sort of pass, because they do look very crisp. Snotlings, epic. Horrendous models, wouldn't recommend painting them, awful to model, but they do look great. I mean, who doesn't love snotlings? I mean, this chap is carrying a ball and chain that is bigger than himself. I don't even know what these guys are doing. I love it. They're epic. The pump wagon is really cool. I think they've got a new version of this for Blood Bowl. If you like the more modern look of stuff, I personally think this is really cool. I've got one of them. They're a pain to model again, so do be patient. Do know if you are buying this that it's going to be a very long project to build and to paint. This is really cool. The rock lubber. I've got one, and I can't recommend them enough. The little stones are great. This chap though is for the bolt thrower. So if you want this chap, just get the bolt thrower, because well, I suppose they've included them in the kit, but that is the lever for the bolt thrower. Yeah, there you go. It's that lever is this. The bolt thrower is fine. The joint there between us is kind of weak, just so you know that. Again, I just can't recommend this enough. It's so, all the war machines are so cool. Right, so let's go on. Yeah, the giant and the bone grinder giant. I think this giant just sort of looks like a massive ogre. It looks like sort of a conversion. This one reminds me of one of the sort of axe things that the modern plastic giant has, but the bone grinding giant is just magnificent. It's gonna be resin. I think it looks awesome. I wonder how large that base is though. I couldn't, because it feels like it's very disproportionately balanced. It somehow really doesn't feel like a Games Workshop kit. But, I don't think that's a bad thing. Yeah, so there we go. The Arcane Journal, which is great. It's going to be really interesting to see what sort of stuff they put in there. I mean, obviously it's going to be the hag stuff, but also, it would be nice to have some Wolf Rider packs. But yeah, we'll see. Some dice and cards. These feel really, standard. It feels like we've seen them before, not like with the Bretonnians and the Tomb King sort of felt like a once in a lifetime thing. They probably won't make stuff like that again. This feels like we've had plenty of times for 40k. They're still nice. I still like them, but they feel a bit more normal. I think the reference card packs are a bit interesting because they've been selling out for the other ones. I've played a few games without them and it works fine. It feels like old fancy, so it would be interesting to see how much of a difference it makes to have the reference cards. And then it's some stuff for Horus Heresy, which I suppose we will look at now. So yesterday they put out the Old World Almanac. Explains more about what's in the Arcane Journal. This I really like this sort of old kind of picture. It reminds me of the old White Dwarf editorials or the battle reports. This is called Stupidity. Seems like similar to the old Stupidity rule. I'll have to look at that because I think I might make a comparison video between the old and the new special rules. But it's good to see that they actually do have. Well, I know that they do. I've played with it. Again, I really like these. And look, the old rock lubber just looks so good in the background. Again with these, I think it's. I know I said before, and I do think it's very odd to have two chariots. I don't think I've ever used more than one. I mean, for Tomb Kings or something like that, obviously, but for Greenskins, it's going to be interesting to see how the play style is. I'm going to try and see if I can find an opponent to play with more than one, because I mean, it's cool. It looks really cool, but yeah. So always. This is one of my favorite pictures. I think it's either on the cover or very prominently in one of the old army books. I mean, if you know, please put it in the comment. But I like it. It's sort of Blanchitsu style. I mean, it's obviously not because it's got green and it's got clearly defined people. But it's sort of that retro era Games Workshop that I think many fantasy players are really looking for. Yeah, and the last one, how the Orc and Goblin tribes are meant to play. Look, this is again the larger armies. I'm really looking forward to the Wood Elves as well. That's going to be interesting to see how those work out. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be. I'm going to have to play a game and sort of talk about it. I know, for example, Fanatics were great last time. We had a friend I had a friend in my gaming group who played them every time, which was terrible to play against. But it's a fun mechanic. To me, Orcs and Goblins have always been about not necessarily winning but having fun. And I think if you're playing against a try-hard Orcs and Goblin player, that probably wouldn't be as fun as playing against a person who just sort of likes to scream and warg while releasing the fanatics. Yeah, look, these sort of ogre-looking things, they look sort of out of place with a green skin army, because they look like ogres or like even humans when they're way back there, and just looks so out of place with these green skin. I mean, partially because the green skins have green skin, but also because I don't know, there's something design-wise that sort of binds these together that I don't think bind these together with these. It might just be that they're older kits. I don't know. I personally don't like them that much. Yeah, but anyway, that's all we have from this weekend. Thank you for watching, and please leave me a comment with what you think about the new Orcs and Goblins releases, and we'll talk again soon.